You getting it twisted, getting all jelly, cause you think I'm with them, but you know you not ready. My truth got me up at 6 a.m. Tapping in the Zoom, cause my God is the REM. Straight up, he died for me. When I pull up, I know he got me. Don't play faves, we all his queens. When they say woman, they mean
Hey,
God.
everybody. Thank you for joining me this episode of Determined Women of Destiny. And if you didn't know it already, I am your girl, Yvonne, the Motivator Man. And my guest, I just want to call her Miss Monique because she just has that aura. That's Miss Monique. And Miss Monique does so many things. She has a not for profit organization, she's a radio host, she has a podcast, she's an author, she's internationally known. Man, she does so much. I was reading her bio, totally exhausted when I finished, but I want to grow up to be just like Miss Monique. Miss Monique, welcome
Oh,
to the
bless
show.
your heart. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, of course, to be here and to meet you. I'm so pleased to be here.
Oh, thank you. Listen, tell me about just everything you do, but let's start with the non for profit because that non for profit is really, really special.
Well, Disability LLC was a ministry God gave me back in the early 2000s. And because of the position I was in life, I just kind of tossed it to the side and said, nah, I ain't doing that. I
Mm.
was like, I'm already overwhelmed with everything that was going on and trying to get out of survival mode. And I left it in my notebook with the drawing of the logo and everything. And it wasn't until I started writing Grief as a Gangster and I went through my book looking for something else and the piece of paper fell out of it that had this ability. And I said, oh, okay. I
Yeah.
guess it, wasn't no coincidence for me to find it. I was putting up my grandmother's things because we had just buried her and my sister 2 weeks apart. So I was trying to make room for the stuff that I did keep. And I saw it, I said, okay, maybe it's time. Okay. And so by the time Grief is the Gangster came out, I simultaneously released that and released Disability LLC. So that's how that came about.
Now, I always tell all of my women, you work better from a document than you do from a thought. And if she had not written that piece of paper down and put it in a notebook, we wouldn't be here today. Now,
Right.
you said that you were going through so much. So tell us a little
hmm
bit about that journey of what you were going through that birthed out Grief is a Gangster, which it is. So
Uh,
tell us about that journey and tell us a little bit about Grief is a Gangster.
Um, my grandmother passed first, and we were prepared for it. Of course, God prepared us for it. I didn't even get out the door to get to the cemetery when I got the message from my sister's father that my sister passed away the morning of my grandmother's burial. I
Mhm.
cannot tell you what that feels like because my niece was only 15 months old then. So it was a blur. Like that whole year, 2021, 2022 was kind of a blur. And I said, okay, God, I don't have nothing else. I think I'm done. I can't do anything else. I don't have the strength. I don't have the mental fortitude. How am I supposed to process double grieving? I can't think about one without thinking about the other because they happen in close proximity. One triggers the other. The memories trigger each other. And so I sat, and while I was numb and trying to make sense of it, uh, I started writing and I said, how am I supposed to express how I feel, going through this grief process? And how am I supposed to, worship my way through this and see God and stuff? And I just started writing. And I told somebody one day, I said, man, grief is a gangster. Then I said,
There you go.
oh, I was writing. And I was like, I gotta go, I gotta go. I hung up with my friend. I said, I'm so sorry, I gotta hang up. And I just started typing. And, during that time when you sit with God and you get wisdom and revelation, he revealed some things that didn't even have anything to do with grief directly that was triggered as a result of it. And so in the book, I'm talking about the basic things, like the shock of it all and all that stuff. But I'm also talking about some things that were triggered as a result of losing them that I never even considered.
Wow.
And so it's very weighty, and
Mhm.
I cried just as much writing it and proofreading it and reading it again as the people who have bought it have been ministered to, and it still ministers to me because we have suffered a couple of more losses, of course, since then, and it's just like, listen, day by day, It's no such thing as getting over somebody that you love. You don't get over it. You live a new normal, not in a sense of forgetting about them. I will never forget my grandmother. My grandmother raised me. I will never forget my sister. I raised her. And so I will never forget them. But now I have this new reality that I have to live through, and get through their absence, if you will.
Right.
And so I'm learning how to do that day by day, moment by moment, because it's hard. When you're that close to somebody, you
Yeah,
know.
shaking it is not something you can do. I lost my
Mm-hmm.
dad in 2000, and because I look like him and I act like him, he's always with me. And when he
Yeah.
passed, well, before he went into the hospital, he's going into the operating room. We're talking, and we were talking, and they're going taking him through the doors to do the operation, and we're talking,
Mm-hmm.
and the doors closed, and we're talking, so our conversation never ended. So whenever I want to
Mm-hmm.
talk to my dad, I could just go and start talking because our conversation never ended. But that grief is something. But you found something to help you through it. You said you cried as hard writing the book as you did dealing with the losses, but you found God gave you something to start
Yeah.
your healing process, and that was the book. So how did the not-for-profit organization come? Because the book came first and then the not-for-profit after.
Um, right after I think I had already proofread the book and things like that. And during this time I had finally gotten the oh Jesus, I have mom brain. Forgive me, y'all. I had just gotten the check from my sister's passing that I didn't even know I had. I didn't even remember that I had an insurance policy on her because, like I said, I was raising her, and I didn't cash it right away. It took me so long to just, I didn't want it. I was like, Lord, I want my sister back. I don't want it. I don't want the money. So I kind of sat on it for a while. Like I said, I was going through some things, trying to keep, trying to figure out what to keep as mementos, what to get rid of. And when I went through my book, it was almost as if my sister said, "Okay, Mo, let's go."
Ah, yeah.
It was just like, what, girl, what you waiting on? She was my sister, to this day, if she was here, she would tell you, my sister can do everything. She used to think that I could do everything and that I was the strongest person. And I'm like, girl, your sister is not, I'm not Wonder Woman. Believe me, I don't know what you're looking at, but I used to tell her, no, you're the strong one, because she was battling cancer. And I was just like, no, honey, you got me beat on this one because I can't imagine. And when I got it out the book, I said, okay, maybe I'll do something with it. And before I could say, well, Lord, I don't have the money to do it, he's like, really? I'm like, the check.
Ah,
So I sat there, I cried some more, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I cried some more,
right.
depositing a check. I cried some more going to the bank. I cried on the way home, just like, God, Lord, how am I supposed to get through this? And so I did the paperwork with a lady who helped me get all my business stuff together. Shout out to Dr. Cosimo, who helped me get all my, things in order. And that was it. I just started and everything fell into place. The thing is, people need to understand that when God gives you something, he gives it to you. He doesn't leave out what we call the petty details. The money was already there. Did I want it that way? No. Did I see it happening that way? Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get to micromanage God and tell God how to do what he promised that he was going to do through us. We don't know what it's going to
Yes.
cost us.
Can you say that again?
And
We do not micromanage God. Stop telling
no,
God when he tells you, you say, okay, you're wrong because I can't do that. It's,
yeah, we nudging him.
and we
Like,
talking
God,
about
no, you didn't tell me to do that.
or can you hurry up? Can you just hashtag trust the process? Everybody knows that's on
Yes,
every one of my shows. Hashtag trust the process,
but
because
we don't.
that's exactly what it is. That's what it is. We have to trust the process. Now, your not-for-profit organization is for people with disabilities. Am I correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the faith-based support person that comes into, because we don't have that. Us, we as special needs parents and caregivers, we
Right.
don't have that interpersonal support. People tell us we strong all the time, throw cliche words at us, but I'm the one that will come and hug you and hold you and let you cry it out. I will come and tell you, listen, this is how you embrace God in the midst of your pain, in the midst of your tears. This is what God expects from us and things like that. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm very transparent, and we get through it together. And that's pretty much what I do. I tell parents, how to find services here in Maryland, because I'm in PG County, if they need help. Some things I know about in DC, some things I know about in other counties, but if I don't, I know somebody probably who does. And so, I just, each one reach one. It's one of that kind of reciprocal thing. And then through the books and all of that, I do conferences and seminars and things like that sometimes, or I do, mostly my own stuff to get the word out there, because I'm still in the exposure phase, if you will. So it's been the most beautiful thing, and it's been healing for me, because I never forgave myself
For what though?
for having a child with special needs. Your mom guilt, the
Mm,
mom guilt will kill you, because we try to make sense when things go wrong. Our first inclination is to find out why did it happen and if I'm at fault for it,
right.
to
But
try to soothe ourselves. And it doesn't, this is something that I can think all day long until Jesus calls me home, and I still won't have an answer for you.
well, the answer is every child is born with 400 genotypes. Now,
Hmm.
not near one of them genotypes could be yours. And
Right, right, right.
when I found that out, I was like, whew, okay, so my daughter ain't my problem. No, I'm only kidding. But my daughter can definitely agree with what you said, because my granddaughter, everyone knows, Team Claire, hashtag Team Claire. Claire is on the spectrum of autism, and they say that she's nonverbal, which I think is hysterical because she talks all the time and she says what she wants to say. Now, whether you
Hmm.
understand it or not, that's on you.
Right.
But she definitely can communicate, and she's 9 years old. She's beautiful. And one of the biggest
Oh.
struggles for myself and my daughter is finding good services for her. Like, this little girl is
Hmm.
slender and she's very athletic, and we're trying to find a dance class for her and can't find one. For children with autism, they don't have a dance class. If you have Down syndrome,
No.
but autism, no. And it's like, that's a shame, because this girl can do a split. She doesn't even know what a split is. She just does it. She puts her hand on the bed and she can just put her whole back leg straight up to the ceiling. And this is what she's doing while
Wow.
she's supposed to be watching TV, because kids don't sit down no more and watch television.
No, they don't.
So I'm just really happy that in Maryland they have you. So this way, a parent can come to you and say, hey, my child has this disability. Can you help me? I need services. And there you go. Your fingers are running, like back in the day, you just say, run your fingers through the yellow pages, but we don't
Yes.
have yellow pages anymore. So basically, you are the yellow pages right now.
Yes, ma'am. Basically. And I am so, I'm so excited about that, because I know when I needed services and I was like, God, is there anybody out
Mm,
here
right.
that knows and understands and gets it? And when I found my one and I started to build community, it was the greatest feeling ever. And so that's what, my goal is to bring back that sense of community for us, because there's nothing for kids like my son with cerebral palsy who can't walk or do any of that stuff. He just sits in a wheelchair, he can maneuver his arms and things like that, and he can talk and stuff. But there's not a lot for him to do either. If it's not a movie or bowling or swimming, even swimming, it takes a couple of people to get him in the pool because he's an adult. He's 23. We don't have anything out here, and they need to stop lying and telling these families about all these services that they not even going to give them. If
Yeah.
their child does not meet the, requirements and things like that, or they don't have the staff, basically people are afraid because they don't want to be sued if your child is combative or violent, and they don't want to take the risk. They just need to tell you the truth. They don't want to be bothered with it because they don't know what it's like, and it's okay. People fear what they don't understand.
Yeah.
However, it's up to us to bridge that gap and say, listen, you're not going to catch it. You're not going to catch cerebral palsy. You're not going to catch autism. My son or daughter wants to be loved and accepted just like you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go to break. And when we come back, you're going to tell us a little bit more about your not for profit. And then we're going to discuss your podcast and your radio show and your books. So, you guys come right back. Go ahead. Turn that chicken over. I'm going to give you enough time. There's a little commercial. Turn that chicken over. Tell them kids to finish their homework. And you
Mhm.
come on back.
Sis, you are your ancestors' wildest dreams. Everything that our foremothers dreamed of, you are. Those women were snatched from their homeland, brought to a country that had a climate they didn't know and a language they couldn't understand, but yet they survived. And you, sis, you are the designated survivor. Purchase this journal. It will guide you through scripture so that you could jot down your hopes, your dreams, and desires to live the life that you've been waiting to live and that your ancestors died and fought for. Go to lulu.com, make your purchase today. That's LULU.com.
Welcome back. And you know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what I'm going to say. I say it every show. If you just joining me, shame on you. Shame on you. You know you should have been here from the beginning, but it's all right. Y'all know I love you. And you know I do. And I thank you that you're here now. If you didn't know, I'm your girl, Yvonne, the Motivated Man, and you tuned in to Determined Women of Destiny. My guest is Miss Monique, and Miss Monique has been talking about her life, her grief, her not for profit organization, and her book. So, we're going to get a little bit more into a not for profit organization. Before the break, she was saying how she is, quote unquote, the yellow pages of services for people who have children of special needs. And on the break, we were talking about how hard it is to just find services that are close by and really affordable for children with special needs. So, Miss Monique, finish telling us about your not for profit. And we know that you're the yellow pages, but what are some of the other things that your not for profit provides people in the Maryland area?
Aside from that, like I said, we do faith-based coaching and things like that. I am about to start our support group, our
Mhm.
support group, our prayer group, that sort of thing, and kind of see how that goes because I have a different vision for disability now that I'm into it. I see where the need is. The need is for a lot of, moms and dads just to have that, be able to release those feelings and emotions. So
Right.
that way they won't be so stressed out and feeling sick and, don't have any energy and angry that their child has this thing that they can't buy a pill, to cure or go buy a therapist or pay a therapist to get rid of, if you will. This is a lifelong journey and it's mentally exhausting. And so my goal is to help alleviate that mental stress while I'm learning too, because I don't know everything. I'm going off of what I've learned so far and pouring into others and saying, hey, this is how I made it through X, Y, Z. Hey, this is what I did to, get through this area or this arena. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it hurts. No, it's not going to be fun, but this is how you get through it. And I tell them how to do it in the most painless, if you will, way possible. Because, we go through a lot.
Yeah, my girlfriend Sonia,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I tag her on the show. Her son has cerebral palsy. How
Mm.
we met was I saw him on Facebook dancing and in his wheelchair, and he
Mm.
has such a wonderful smile. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be my new boyfriend, right? And we just started talking from there, and we became very good friends. And she also says, just getting services it's not easy. So tell us about your podcast. What is the name of it, and where can we go to hear it? story and
The
see it.
name of the podcast radio show is audio right now because I don't do a lot of lives. Y'all don't get mad at me. I know. It's called Having a Moment, Having a Moment with Moni, Moni, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere podcasts are streamed. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google,
Wow.
iHeart, everywhere. You can Spreaker, all of the other ones, Castbox, and the rest of them that I can't remember right now because it's quite a bit of them. It's
Okay.
everywhere. And it streams every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the HOD Radio Network. That's HOD Radio Network, streaming from Benin, Nigeria. So God has blessed
Oh.
us and enlarged our territory. I have a strong Nigerian following over there, listener wise and stuff. And I just could not be more, pleased and excited and all of that. I'm like little old me. People listen to me.
Mhm.
We are 93 episodes in. We're creeping up to 100. And so, that is just super amazing from somebody who didn't even want to tell anybody anything. Now I have too much to tell you, and I'm trying and I'm trying to slow down and make sure I get it all to you and release it all as God gives it to me. It's been an amazing journey. I am so glad that God has perfect timing. Had I did this back then, I don't know if I would be this far because of what was going on. So I'm grateful that God gave me the grace, even though I didn't start it when He asked me to, but He made it well beyond what I thought it was going to be. He just took it and just ran with it, and I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, that always happens. Once we say, okay, God says, I've been waiting. And then the door just
Hmm.
opens up. And it's amazing that, you're
Yeah,
on a radio show in Nigeria. And that is wonderful.
that's
Like
huge.
I dream
Yes.
to be, I dream to be. And that's the reason why you're internationally acclaimed because you put yourself out there and you are heard outside of America. I keep telling people, you got to go past your 6 blocks. There's a whole
Yes.
world out there. There's people waiting to hear your story. And you know what? I live on Long Island and in New York. And I tell you, it is saturated with podcasts. I'm not even
Hmm.
trying. I'm not even trying here in New York. But I tell you one thing, Utah sure loves me. And I will go where the love is. And so Nigeria is loving
Yeah.
you. And that is like really good. So your podcast, and now the book. That's what I want to get to. Grief is a Gangster. Let's talk a little bit about that.
That's one of 6 books. I'm 6 books in.
Oh, six
Uh,
books in. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and 2 co-writes.
Okay.
Grief is a Gangster, like I said, was written as a result of, losing my grandmother and my sister. And it looks like a comic book on the outside because that's the vision that God gave me for it. It's a really cute cover of a gangster, and he's holding the woman hostage due to grief. And so when you see it, it'll automatically draw your attention when people think it's a comic book. But like I said, it's talking about how I process, you know, grieving
Mhm.
from losing my mom and grieving. I touched on it a little bit, being divorced, having a child with special needs and being a single mom of 2 boys. So I really didn't go that deep into that part of it. That might be volume 2. Okay. So, okay, Lord, I hear you. So, but I'm talking about the deep part of grief, not just the loss. How about feeling the embarrassment when you lose your parent and to find out that they didn't have life insurance and now you don't have money to bury your parent because you yourself is a stay-at-home mom because you have a kid with a disability.
Wow.
I'm talking about things like that. How embarrassed I was to have to tell people, no, we're not having no funeral because we don't have no money.
Wow.
And
Wow.
how that hurt just as much. So I didn't, my mom didn't have a funeral. She had to be cremated. And thank God that she had enough funds to do that, but that wasn't my vision. So I didn't get to see my mom dressed up, in a
Mhm.
casket, and God knew what was best. I can tell you right now that just seeing her when I saw her before the cremation, I couldn't have done it.
Mm.
I barely made it through that. I literally almost passed out seeing her because they first of all the funeral home had her still in the body bag.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, and and I didn't see them unzip her, but I heard it. So that zip and that unzip or whatever is etched in my spirit forever.
Mm.
So I'm talking about things like that, stuff that we don't think about. How do you, everybody's looking at you, you're embarrassed, you're like, oh my God, my mother doesn't have life insurance. And it's not that she didn't have it, she had it, but she restarted a policy, she made changes to it and she died within the time frame, the 2 year period or whatever that they set before they start paying out. So they were gracious enough to give us the money back that she poured into the policy,
That's
monthly
good.
payments, but they didn't give us, what the policy was,
Right.
So, I'm talking about things like that. How I felt as a daughter trying to manage, my life, my son's life, trying to take care of her and make sure she had everything she needed, knowing that I was inadequate. I talk about the deeper things that grief brings along, the anger and where the anger really comes from. It's not that they're not here anymore. We're mad at them because they didn't do enough to stay here with us.
Ah, there you go.
Why
That's
why
it.
why why are
That's
you
it.
dead? Why
That's
why
it.
why are you not here with
That's
me?
it.
I'm here I am, 6-time author, all this other kind of stuff. I don't have you to call
And you're not
or
here.
have you to
Right.
to say, hey, congratulations, daughter. I'm so
Mhm.
proud of my baby. That's my girl.
Yeah.
Or my sister going, that's my big sis right there. What, why? Just why? And that's the big question. And so those are the things that I'm talking about. And I get emotional every time I say that, but it's true that we're like, God, okay, so even if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, Lord, why didn't you just extend their life and make them healthier?
Because I needed them, right? Uh,
Yeah, it's like, God, okay, so now I'm out here,
he didn't make no
you
mistakes.
know, yeah, and I'm just like, I'm just out here. My mother's gone. My grandmother, both of them, both of my grandmothers are gone that helped raise me and stuff. My sister's gone. I'm like, okay, God,
What's up?
okay, what's next? What's up?
What's
Yeah.
up?
And so those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about and trying to unpack and deal with. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a little deep.
Well, it's been wonderful talking with you. Tell us where we can find everything that you're doing. Where can
Um,
we contact you?
oh.
Where can we get, your books? Where can women contact you and ask about services in the Maryland area?
I have a link tree, y'all. It's linktr.ee /Monique Duell. Everything is there. The books are there, the podcast, all of those things, even the form to fill out if you wanted to reach out to me. I am all over social media. If you Google my name, I'm on Facebook,
Mhm.
Instagram, TikTok, all of that, Wisdom app. I do have a merch store as well that's on the Linktree. It's hoodie season. I have hoodies. Disability has a merch store where I have hoodies and mugs and tumblers and all those kinds of things to, make you look a little stylish while repping, your differently able loved one. We got all kind of colors. We got extended sizes for the thick people like me. So we got it. Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. You can reach out to me on Facebook or any of the other social media apps. I do respond to all of them. I do respond. I don't leave anybody hanging. Just don't come on there being crazy, okay? But I do respond to everybody who reaches out to me. Thank you guys for your love and support. Thank you, Sister Yvonne, for having me here. It's definitely been a pleasure.
Oh, Miss Monique, thank you for all the information you gave us. And everybody, you know how I end every show. You keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. So, Miss
All
Monique,
right.
we'll be contacting you because you're doing some stuff. And until next time, peace and blessings, y'all. Peace and blessings.
There goes a woman of God. I'm a woman.